Welcome back to the All Things Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Julian. I'm here with my two special guest co-hosts, Kev. I got Stevo with me tonight. Shout out to y'all for being here. It's really good to be back. Football season is back. Started with college football this past Saturday. We had week 0 2 weeks ago, obviously. So that was like the pre-excitement to what we really got to witness this weekend. NFL is coming up this coming Thursday. We'll have Philadelphia Eagles going on their quest to defend their championship, starting off versus the Dallas Cowboys. We're going to have football on Friday in the NFL in Brazil with the Chargers and the Chiefs, if I'm not mistaken. So we got a packed show. Like I said, I got Big Kev right here. I got Stevo, 365 Canes Football. I know a lot of you guys know him from there. Shout out to Stevo for joining us here. UM versus Notre Dame was one to see as a fan of University of Miami. But let's get started, gentlemen. I want to talk about the biggest opening week for college football that we've ever seen. We had 3 top 10 matchups. I'm not really here to ask y'all how y'all day going. I'm just trying to hear what y'all was thinking about on Saturday when you saw Archie Manning looking like Uncle Rico throwing sidearm potatoes. Like Uncle Rico throwing sidearm wide receivers. Yo, let me open the talking points out here. Number 1, Texas playing number 3, Ohio State University in Ohio State in the shoe. There was a lot of expectation for this game. We have arguably the best player in college football on the Ohio State side with Jeremiah Smith. We have one of the highest, recruited players and Heisman hopeful Arch Manning playing for Texas. And that defense on both sides is very, very promising and championship contending. We got a defensive game, and we got an underwhelming offensive performance. I want to point out as well, this is the first time a guy with no starts, Julian saying, gets a win versus a number 1 team in the country. So the odds were stacked against Ohio State with this one. There was a lot of hype on the Texas side, even though they were on the road. But the line was moving as the day came, and boy, we didn't get a shootout, but we got a really good game, and it was fun to watch. So I want to start off, Kev. Give me some of your thoughts on what you saw on Saturday at 12 noon, big noon, Saturday, when Arch Manning took the field for the first time and threw that dirt ball on maybe 2nd and 10 there.
So I swear to God, his first pass. I'm watching and I see him throw it, and instinctually I just said ew, because that's just what it was. It was not a good pass. He had moments during the game where he looked okay, but for the most part, I don't know if the Ohio State he started, I know, a game last year, but like your first real you're the guy start was this year, and it's at Ohio State to start the season.
Yeah,
you're the number 1 ranked team in the country. That's a tough spot to be put in. I know Julian's saying it on the other side, and he's kind of going up against the number 1 team in the country and making his first start. But Arch Manning, I think, with all the hype, was put in a tough position to go out there and look good or do well. So I think for me personally, I'll reserve judgment on Arch Manning for a few weeks, but obviously not the first start that he wanted, not the first start that Texas wanted from him. But if he's as talented as
we got you. Don't worry. Let him out. He got him speechless. That's how good he was, man. I'm playing. We get Kev back on real quick.
Oh my God. I was trying to talk.
You can't pass away on the podcast, brother. I don't know what the liability looks like there, but you gotta stay with us.
But so I thought Ohio State's defense looked great, and I'm excited. Like, we're back. College football is back, and I'm excited to see what's in store for the next few weeks.
Stevo, I mean, 17 of 30, one touchdown, only 170 yards. If I told you he completed more passes than Julian Saying did on the other side, what's your reaction to that?
No, I'm trusting my eyes, though. I mean, let's be honest with you. There was just so much throws that were just so off target. If this is his first start, I'm thinking maybe he's trying to do too much. He's forcing the ball into angles, but he's missing wide open drag routes, hitting it to the floor. Like that last 3rd and 5 to Wingo. Wingo was in the air for like 5 seconds reaching back to grab that. I mean, that is terrible. The mechanics were god awful. The one touchdown he did throw arguably was the only call they did not reverse the entire weekend. Like the LSU catch or they reversed like every catch but that catch. Yeah. Like the one that was most likely the one that was a drop, and they did it for Arch, bro, because it was he just literally looked off. The off percentage throws is worrisome. Again, like if he's putting the ball in harm's way and he's just trying to make a play, he's being young, he's making young mistakes. That's one thing. He's making the correct reads. The ball, it just looked so awkward when he threw the ball. He looked like he was throwing a baseball. It looked like he wasn't out there playing football. It looked terrible. So that would be my thoughts. I don't like Ohio State. Obviously, I'm a University of Miami fan, but I did coach Julian Saying in 2022 with our 7-on-7 team. So I know he's like that. When he went to Ohio State, we knew what the deal was, that he was going to start his, as a redshirt freshman. I think because they had brought in Will Howard. He transferred from Alabama after Nick Saban retired. So they already had Howard at that time. And this is it. I feel like some drops by the receivers early probably stunted what they had going on, just by the way Ohio State was dominating the game physically. They tried to force feed JJ. It wasn't there. They went back to the run game, and that's all it wrote.
Yeah. I mean, it was an impressive outing from Saying, just given the circumstances, as you mentioned, redshirt freshman, finally comes in, gets his opportunity, and then to start the game, everybody's raving about as the best player in the country, Heisman hopeful, Heisman favorite, he's dropping passes. I mean, when you got a young guy who's trying to, catch a stride, who's trying to get into a rhythm early, he had a drop on a 4th down conversion that was a great throw. Put it in the tight end's hands. Tight end couldn't get it. Jeremiah Smith had about 2 early ones. I think he had 3 total drops in the game, but he had 2 early ones. And I think that was stunting the rhythm that Ohio State was trying to get into offensively. But as you mentioned, they were able to lean on that run game and that defense, man. That defense is, they looking like they want to defend that national championship this year down in Miami, Florida in January. But we got a big throw from both of these quarterbacks that we got to see. We got to see Archie put it on the money there in the end zone finally, and then we also got to see Julian Saying it was an underthrow. It wasn't the best throw, but when you got guys like Tate and Smith out there, sometimes you just got to give them the one-on-one opportunity and let them see if they can come down with it, and that's what it came down to. So just big credit to Julian Saying and Coach Day. I wanna talk about. This was a big head coach matchup. Sarkisian's on one end, Coach Day's on the other. Day, like going into the semifinal last year, it was Ohio State had this target on their back, and it was like, you guys better win. They lost to Michigan last year, right? Ohio State. And ever since, since then it was like, if y'all lose a playoff game, we're looking at Coach Day like this might be his last day. And since then, I think the team has rallied around him. He's done a great job. And what we've seen for 1 week, beating the number 1 team in the country, who maybe wasn't the true number 1. I mean, it is what it is. Obviously, we got a new ranking that we'll talk about a little bit later. But yeah, man, I think it deserves a lot. He deserves a lot of credit. Coach Day does. And also, moving along, another coach who deserves a lot of credit, I want to say Brian Kelly. I think he had his guys out there ready on Saturday to compete with one of the top teams and top quarterbacks. Another Heisman hopeful, Cade Klubnik over there versus Garrett Nussmeier. Hey, I'm just calling it like the national media is to set it up.
Heisman hopeful.
What you said, Stevo, when we talked about Arch Manning just now, you said the eye test, right? We talked about the eye test, and sometimes you can feel it, you can see it. But you know, if you bought College Football 26, the video game, if you're listening to national media and the Paul Feinbaums and the Josh Page, Cade Klubnik is that guy. You know, Cade Klubnik. Let me check the stats. No touchdowns, 1 interception. You know, he's the Heisman hopeful. But LSU was able to, I guess, humble that and keep that in check. Clemson only scored 1 touchdown, and it wasn't impressive. LSU came out, in my opinion, with more want. I feel like they were more ready to attack the moment, because both of these teams didn't play beautiful football. It wasn't a good game by any measure. I feel like all of the games this weekend, outside of maybe the FSU Bama game, were like under. You know, it was like very low scoring. But LSU came out. They made more plays at the end of the day. I don't know, Kev, can you speak to me as far as what you saw on Saturday night in that primetime game versus Clemson in Death Valley?
I mean, Clemson, I think Brian Kelly just said that he, in response to Dabo's comments on the game, giving LSU a 60-something and Clemson a 50-something.
58.
Yeah. Brian Kelly said that maybe he didn't want to watch the second half. That was the tale of the game. I mean, Clemson just dominated in the second, or LSU dominated Clemson in the second half of that game, and that was really the story of it. Like, not much happened in the first half, and then not much happened in the second half either. Like, there wasn't much going on in the game. It was really two good defenses, and to the point of Cade Klubnik, like, I don't think he's. I agree. Like, I don't really think he's going to be the Heisman. I think Drew Aller at Penn State is. I mean, listen.
I mean, you're gonna have to say Carson Beck to get this guy to give you a thumbs up.
No. Drew Aller is just cheeks.
I hope it's Carson Beck for our sake. But I like Drew Aller. I think he's a really good quarterback. But as far as as far as the Heisman goes, but I think LSU looks like who I think people thought Alabama would be. So,
sure. Any thoughts on LSU versus Clemson?
Star was born at D tackle, at least for one night for LSU. I mean, that game came down to the plays he made in the interior, and it's the reason why Cade Klubnik really didn't have his best game. Even though I do think he's not a Heisman, hopeful. He's not mid. At least that's like his floor is like above average quarterback play is his floor to good quarterback play. That's kind of like his range, which is fine in the ACC with Clemson's offensive line and defensive line. But it just didn't work out that way versus Brian Kelly's unit. A lot of when you play these teams like Clemson, if you can win the one-on-one matchups, you're going to do well. They're going to dominate you or play really well in the trenches. It's going to be hard to run the football. But if your slot corners could just abuse them and whoever they put to cover, like LSU's number 1 did, you're going to move the chains. You're going to get those timely first downs. Even though the scoreboard wasn't lit up, it's all about the timely first downs. And then that's how you put those drives together, especially they close the half, and they close the fourth quarter.
Yeah, and you mentioned it. I mean, Aaron Anderson only had 6 catches, but he did get 100 yards, 99, and they were timely. They were very clutch plays he was making, and he was able to control the middle of the field whenever he was getting open. So I'm interested to see where both of these teams go after this. We got LSU is gonna. I mean, obviously, the schedule gets a little cupcakey for now, but coming up, they're gonna play Florida and Ole Miss within the next month here. And then on Clemson's side, they're going to have to go against Georgia Tech and Syracuse. And these aren't super big games. Obviously, they're not no marquee matchups or anything like that, but it's still a test to see where you are, because with Cade Klubnik on Clemson's side, I as much as there was or is hype around his name right now, he had to earn his stripes, and he struggled last year. There was moments last year where we're looking at him like, all right, he's just a regular guy, he's nothing special, but he then started to make plays and heat up toward the end of the season and got Clemson rolling. For LSU, I think it's you better beat Florida, that's kind of their next test. Florida Gators, I'm not going to give them too much stock, but I'm not going to dismiss the fact that they, have some talent over there. And I'm just trying not to say anything that's going to get Stevo to thumbs down me real quick. So, but they do have some talent over there, and I think it'll be a good matchup when they have to face LSU, because for Florida's sake, they have the toughest schedule in the country if you look at their schedule right now. And so they're going to have to get as many as they can, and they're going to have to hit opponents with their best shot. So LSU's definitely going to get a good challenge there. I'm just interested to see how that goes. But typically, we're not interested to see what FSU's doing, especially when they're playing a team like Alabama. We expect that game to just, all right, Bama take the dub, moving on. Mike Norvell don't got those guys where they need to be. Hey, if we can credit one more coach, and whether I hate to say it or not, I think Mike Norvell deserves a hell of a ton of credit for having those boys ready out there in Tallahassee this week. It was dry, it was rainy, they ran the ball, they passed the ball. I mean, shout out to Gus Malzahn and what he was able to do to the Alabama defense, whether it was confusion or dominance. Hey, Tommy Castellano came into this game with a target on his back. He had some words a few weeks ago, and he hit the Drewski stand on business with their ass. Boy, he hit a stand on business. Like, I'm not sure that there was a player more ready for the game than Tommy Castellano on Saturday. I'm not going to hold you. And I was hating from the sideline. I was hating from the couch. And I'm like, oh, this is who was talking all that talk. They got Bama now. What they gonna do? And he showed up and showed out. Stevo, we're gonna have to play Florida State in Tallahassee. I'm not worried at all, right? I mean, that's not what we're at. That's not what this conversation is about. But the conversation will revolve around respect. And I think that FSU showing what they were able to do against Bama, the name, because right now Bama they're holding the name. That's all they got right now. The fact that Kalen DeBoer comes in and within 18 months the shit getting shut down,
mental health clinics and fingernail painting, all the
we could have a whole podcast episode about what's going down in Alabama, but I do still have to credit what Mike Norvell and what Tommy Castellano and Gus Malzahn and their DC was able to do and game plan for this Alabama team, because it was dominance from the first to the fourth quarter. Give me some of your thoughts on what you saw from FSU and if you expect them to look like that against the number 5 ranked Canes.
Well, this is the Norvell era. Does he hit in the portal or does he not? So the first game looked like he hit 4 new starters on the offensive line. Everybody saw that offensive line last year. They couldn't block a soul. So obviously they look like they hit on a couple of those transfer offensive linemen. We could say what we want about Bama. Yeah, they're a shell of what they were and just literally 16 months ago. It's literally crazy. It's the craziest descent you've ever seen. It's literally crazy. It's the craziest. I don't know if I'm hearing my audio. It's crazy when you see it go through what it is, but you still give that credit because they physically dominated on offensive line and defensive line. They dominated all those 5 stars that Bama has and all this stuff like that. Proctor, the number 1 lineman in the draft, and he looked terrible. He couldn't block this to the second level. You saw linebackers shooting gaps, getting upfield on Bama. That's just not something you see. Bama played soft, and Florida State pounded them. So you have to respect that. Really couldn't care less for FSU, but when you see good football, it's good football. They play that game. They control it from start to finish. I appreciate the quarterback talking some ish and then backing it up. So, I respect that. Again, he's a Florida State Seminole, but hey, it wouldn't be a rivalry if they weren't good and competing for national championships. So when it comes to that, hey, more power to you. But when we see you guys up in Tallahassee, it's belt to cheeks.
Schmack season. Is that week 6? Yes, sir.
Yeah,
that's
October 4th.
You think you making that trip out there? What you planning for that?
Might not. It depends on how the week before the bye week, my birthday. I'll be away, so it depends on what I do, and then maybe.
Hey, I do want to mention and point out that Kansas State was in a battle with North Dakota.
I was watching live. I was on the balcony, saying what?
For whatever reason, I mean, thankfully they went out and snuck out a dub. But Avery Johnson, he threw for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns, but it wasn't all glitz and glitter. He struggled a bit throughout. Florida took care of business. Georgia took care of business, obviously, with cakewalks. SMU in the ACC and Oklahoma out there in the SEC took care of business too. One thing that did impress me was Tennessee. I mean, Syracuse was a team last year that, first of all, what Fran Brown is doing over there and building over there is special. And, they lost their NFL caliber quarterback in Kyle McCord, so I understand you're gonna see the effects of that. But this Tennessee team getting Joey Aguilar in the portal from UCLA,
a trade in college
for
football.
Nico, who goes to UCLA from Tennessee. I mean, but 16 to 28 threw for 247 yards and 3 touchdowns. It looked easy out there for him. Obviously, again, this is a defense that they're not known to be, any type of super threat. But Syracuse, to me, had a really good year last year and built a lot of confidence on the tail end of last year. So, I mean, hey, I'm not going to put, again, too much stock in this, but Tennessee, shout out to them. It feels like they found their guy at quarterback, and they're going to be able to do something with that this year. So, let's talk about Sunday night, because, Lenora Sellers, you look good. I'm not going to lie. You look good. Kyron Drones, unimpressed. I wanted to see more out of Cam Ward's cousin. I wanted to see more out of, the Virginia Tech ACC competition. 11 points that came by way of a safety, 2 field goals, and however the hell they got to 11. But, it was very lackluster, that Labor Day game. 2 interceptions from Drones, as I mentioned. It was a poor performance. But fast forward to Sunday night. I mean, 66,000 plus packed at the Rock. It's a beautiful day until it isn't. The rain starts to hit. The field elements just come into play, and it's the Catholics versus whether you want to call them this, that, the third. I got them here on paper as the number 5 team in the country. That's what the polls are saying about them, and I'm going to address them as such. So, Notre Dame tries to come into the house of the number, at the time, 10 team in the country. And it didn't look like November 11th, 2017, as Stevo shared as one of his favorite memories of being a Hurricanes fan. We all know that was a belt to ass day and Trajan Bandy day down there in Dade. But boy, it was a good game, and boy, was it good to have Hurricanes football back. And Stevo, I wasn't able to be there. Kev, I wasn't able to be there. Stevo and I have gone to a couple home openers. And it's always, you know what I'm saying? We got Bethune, you know what I'm saying? We're going to play Middle Tennessee, whoever the hell we got on the schedule. You know what I'm saying? We going to do the do. We still going to be there. We still trying to see this, that. But we had the number 6 team in the country who was last seen in a national championship game. Runner up from last year with a lot of their squad returning. They have one of the best, if not the best, corners in the league in the country. They have a great running back in Jeremiah Smith who loves to jump. If you watch him, he gonna jump. Don't look at him too much. He gonna jump. And you're right. And arguably one of the country's best offensive line group. I think the glaring issue going into the game was, hey, their quarterback has never had a start, right? The quarterback's never had a start. It's going to be tough, going in a tough environment, playing a really good defense, a revamped defense, I must say. Shout out to Coach Corey over there. Shout out to Coach Heatherman over there doing this thing, dialing them up. You know what I'm saying? But what I saw, Stevo, it wasn't the issue wasn't the quarterback's first start. Quarterback 3 touchdowns. Quarterback has balls of steel. He got my respect. I think the quarterback made enough plays for Notre Dame to win the game. But they got dominated in other areas. And shout out to us because we have one of the best offensive lines. Shout out to Coach Marable for getting them boys ready, right? Shout out to Coach Cristobal for recruiting the recruits he gets. And then we also have this guy named Carson Beck who last year, we all know, yeah, he took a step back. Yeah, Georgia took a step back as a program, you know. A lot of drop passes over there, not helping the quarterback out, you know. Some bad decisions he made last year. But he's in a new environment. He's got a new girl. He's got the Lambo. Living on, you know what I'm saying? All the elements come to play. And I think that we saw what we saw at the Hard Rock on Sunday night was 6 to 8 months of rigorous training, preparation, and guys getting ready for week 1 versus Notre Dame. And it all paid off. And before I let y'all get to y'all, shout out to the 17-year-old. This kid could have been playing high school football on a Friday night. But he's playing big boy college football, prime time, on Labor Day weekend, on one of the biggest college football weekends in the year. And he's making plays. And he led the receiving group in yards, in catches, and he had a touchdown.
That's not going to be the first game. That's not going to be the first game he plays on Sunday either.
Sure enough ain't. It sure enough ain't. So, but Stevo, there you go. I want to end off with Stevo and his thoughts. But Kev, let me hear, because I know you was at the house, Kev. Stevo was at the game. Let me clear this up real quick. Stevo was at the Rock going crazy. I FaceTimed him. I'm like, damn, he ain't finna answer me. He gonna answer. Come on. Boom, my dog answered, showing me the crowd, showing me the vibes. I'm lit. All right, bet. Now I can sit here, lock in and watch the game from the crib. Me and Unc knocking down some brews, setting the vibe. Kev, I know you was in the crib going up. Let me know how your vibe went Sunday night and how you digested, week 1 to go 1-0 against the number 6 team in the country.
Started off great. One hand, CJ Daniels, shout out to CJ Daniels. First of all, I know I said it in the group chat. Biggest thing, especially for me, being able to cover, in a sense, high school football down here with the camera, either photography or videography down here, and seeing these kids come up and play college football. Yeah, seeing Jeremiah at Ohio State doing what he's doing is incredible like the fact that I got to shoot him in high school, but like seeing Malachi uh, Ruben Bain and like all these high school kids who like stood out in high school, seeing them do it for the U is like that's where it like really is like something because we got the best talent and the pipeline is right down the street from you. And so to see these kids now starting to come in and make plays, I think that's what the U has been missing for a minute. And I feel like the talent is finally starting to, funnel back into the U more so than it has the last few years. But like you said, 17 years old making plays like that in prime time, it's cool to see. But yeah, so just that was great. 14-0, 14-0 start to the game was great, and then he makes a play. CJ Carr makes that play where he's running back. We had him sacked. He's able to get to the edge, and
that shit pissed me off, man.
The ball's in the air, and obviously you can't see the end zone, but I knew it. I was like, somebody's wide open in the end zone, and sure enough, somebody's wide open in the end zone, and yeah. So then it felt like one of those games from last year where it just like started to creep, like it started to creep back, like they start to creep back into the game, and you never felt like it was really secure. But when they tied the game, for some reason, is when I felt the most secure. Like we're gonna go down and win this game, and I'm not gonna lie, relying on the kicker. Especially they kept talking about the 4 for 13 at FAU last year.
I was like, geez, Louise.
So relying on the kicker took a lot, but hey, he put it right down. It was probably his best kick of the night. So
yeah, he drilled that ball too.
Drilled it. So shout out to him, Carter Davis.
Carter Davis sounds like a Florida Panthers player.
Yeah, it does. He does sound like a hockey guy.
Carter Davis.
And then the end, the defensive line, I mean, putting the game away, that was beautiful. Like that's what you want to see. That's what you want from your defense, to not even get a ball up in the air, because we saw how that goes. We saw that happen last year, thankfully.
Who was that? Virginia Tech? Who was that?
I believe it was Virginia Tech. Or Virginia.
Virginia. Who was that, Stevo?
What?
The fucking last second
the catch that was
not catch.
Yeah.
I think that was V Tech.
Yeah, that was it V Tech?
Yeah, I
could be
Virginia. Yeah, it might have been Virginia. I hate both of those schools, bro.
Yeah.
We always got some crazy finish against Virginia or some shit.
Yeah, it's Virginia Tech. Yeah, because they were saying it wasn't in bounds, and he was out of bounds. He got the reflection. Yeah, I was sitting right there in the family section. It was right there. I was like, oh my god. I thought he caught it, to be honest.
Yeah. So that, not even giving that a chance is having the D line be able to just get to the quarterback there at the end was the D line was a monster all night. Ruben Bain is he's going to be something next level also. So yeah, it was a good showing. I think glad to see them climb up to number 5 in the rankings. I'm excited. Like that's all you can be from this point on. We got an experienced quarterback, which we had last year. We saw how that went. One of the best seasons in Miami history in terms of offense. So hopefully they can replicate that in some way this year. I think JoJo Trader still Carson Beck just missed him on that deep ball, just a little deep. I think once that connection starts to form a little bit more, I'm looking for him to make a little bit more of an impact too. So
yeah. Man, you mentioned that defensive line. I'm so glad it seems like we have a defense that can finally close us games. Clearly they did. And this seems like, speaking about our offense and like how we still have room to grow and rhythm to catch, this might have been, if not the toughest defense that we might see all year, should be one or two, right? And so, Stevo, again, you were there, you know what I'm saying? You're going to be there every week. Talk to us about the atmosphere. Talk to us about, they had to cancel the Canes Walk because of because of inclement weather, unfortunately. But maybe that was good, man. Maybe the kids just needed to go in there and focus up and get straight to business. They'll do the Canes Walk versus Bethune-Cookman next week, man. Ain't tripping. Talk to us about the game, how you saw it from your eyes. We know you got the eye in the sky. You got your breakdowns. By the way, Hurricanes fans, college football fans, Stevo, he does work. Go check his YouTube out on at 365 Canes Info, and check him out on Twitter at 365 Canes Info. He's also doing work with the Canes Insight family on YouTube as well, if I'm not mistaken. Shout out to the Canes Insight fam. Got a lot of love for them boys. Stevo, talk to us, man.
Oh yeah, this game was won in the off season. Everybody taking that nutrition plan seriously. You see these guys, they're chiseled, they're ready to go. They're built. We were stronger, tougher, bigger than Notre Dame. And in the years past, we've been that small defensive line trying to shoot gaps to stop running games. No longer. We're just going to bully you. Ruben Bain's going to push you out the way. Akeem Mesidor is going to beat you with the unlimited toolbox of moves. We got Ahmad Moten who's just going to straight do you like he used to do it at Cardinal Gibbons, just pop one technique. We brought in David Blake from the portal. His get off was insane. There's a couple of those times where you saw 11 just pop. They're trying to do a bunch of zone blocking schemes. Very simple. It's game one. They're going right, they going left, and you got guys who can shoot gaps, especially at that size, 300 plus. That's different. You got Notre Dame had some of those guys that could shoot gaps, but they weren't 300 plus. And then you saw with Inez Cooper, and then the boys started doing to him as the game wore on. So it was definitely, that nutrition. Seeing how they've attacked it. Damari Brown looks like a linebacker at corner with his size and speed and that tenacity at the corner room. A couple of times we blew up those screens. Obviously that interception, that Bain caught, Damari Brown's breaking that up with his physicality. That's a 6'2", 220-pound receiver, Jordan Greathouse, he's running through. That's not no little guy. So if you want to do that and blow plays up like that, you got to hit the weight room in the offseason hard. The way we dominated I knew we were winning this game. That's why I put as much money as I did on it. And I was happy to see that go green. But I knew this is just the preparation when, we talked about the talent being trickled in here. Yeah. And it's national talent as well. And I think we've gotten the right guys from here to low. You talked about, Ruben Bain. Obviously, Hurricane Bain was his nickname. He had to be a Cane. There was no ifs, ands, and buts about it. Auburn was, in the picture. We dropped that bag. Let's be real. We dropped that bag. And we should. Those are the ones you drop them on. And then you think about guys like JoJo Trader, who missed the last 2 weeks of camp low-key with an ankle injury, so that's why he really wasn't in the game plan. If you guys know how a season goes, first 3 weeks are position battles, next 2 weeks are game prep. And so when you miss game prep, you're not going to be, prepped as much. So that's what's going on with JoJo. I expect for them to try to get his confidence up in week 2. He's getting him healthier by the day. So that would be fine with JoJo. But it's just those type of guys you bring stay home. Damari Brown, another big-time corner that was at American Heritage. How much American Heritage? Ever since Pat Surtain and Tyson Campbell left, you've never heard the end of missing on American Heritage cornerbacks. You've never heard the end of it. When we brought in DP back from the transfer portal from West Virginia, everybody was praising because he was playing really well, and it was like, yeah, we shouldn't be missing on the heritage cornerbacks. It's just, yeah, you're right. These guys have NFL size and speed, and if you coach them up right, they're going to be balling. OJ Frederick was the best player at Deerfield. Went to St. Thomas, honed in with a former Hurricane Earl Little as his DB coach. Really good. Works out with my boy TA Goldfeet. Seen OJ for a long time, oozing athleticism. These are the type of guys you got to keep home. And then, the Wesley Bassam staying here year 4. But we're going national, going to Georgia, getting a guy like Popo Aguero, who's covering Jeremiah Love out of the backfield, making one-on-one tackles, sideline to sideline, all game long. So being able to get the type of guys that are out of state that fit that culture. But again, guys that from the crib that are going to put on. Mally, he played with us in 7-on-7. We knew he was special. I mean, we drawing up plays from. We're in a team full of 5 stars. CJ Russell, who was over there, Calvin Russell, who we were trying to flip from Syracuse, 5-star receiver at Northwestern. And, we're drawing plays for Mally, who's a whole year and a half younger. But it's just what it is. Generational awareness. He understands what's going around at all times. That's why he's so elite. But yeah, man, those are the type of guys you keep home. The Jordan Lyles, the Mark Fletchers. We're keeping the guys home that need to be home, but still being able to now recruit nationally. Like offensive line, defensive line, we got the speed rushers. We've always had the speed rushers, guys that we try to bulk up and turn them into something else. No. Now Mario's dipping into the Midwest and just grabbing them. Justin Scott, 5-star D tackle that forced that fumble. I mean, that's Notre Dame, Ohio State country. We flipped him from Ohio State. Like we're Lightfoot, another redshirt freshman, D end, number 12 was making plays. We flipped him from Ohio State country. Like we're grabbing these guys nationally and supplementing them with some of the best talent in South Florida and in the state of Florida, to be honest, because we're getting guys from Tampa, Armwood. We just signed one of our other players that coached Jalen Waters out of Armwood, probably the number one man corner. I don't care what any rankings say. Yeah, he's a 4-star. The stuff is pretty 40, 50 offers. But when it comes to man coverage, there's not a guy better. So the amount of talent that we're keeping home but able to pluck from other places is great. I mean, it's been 3 straight classes with 5 stars, and they're all on defensive line and offensive line. We haven't had a 5-star receiver, 5-star corner, 5-star safety. They're all 5-star offensive defensive lines. That means Coach Mario is building this roster to compete in the playoffs. Because, when you go through the ACC, you're going to be going through undersized teams. You're going to be playing guys who are maybe just a little under-recruited, but super explosive. They're demons on Saturdays, might not play much on Sundays, but on Saturdays, they going crazy. But when it comes time to the playoffs, when you play in the Notre Dames, the Georgias, the Oregons, you have to hold up in the trenches. Ohio State, you'll never compete. So that's where the resources in our NIL are going to mostly, is the trenches, offensive line, defensive linemen, and then we're sprinkling some stars, skilled players outside locally that we've vetted and developed. I think Miami is going to have a legendary 2028 class because there's probably 3 players in that class who are going to be top 5 positions: Amir Sears, Bryson Wright, and I can't believe off the top of my Neiman Lawrence. And you're probably going to be able to get all 3 of them if you continue to do what you do. So potentially like 3 top 10 players in a class could join you. And there's more for that coming from. You talk about Chaminade. There's some 28s on that roster that's looking lovely. Talking about a 28 at Western that's looking lovely right now. I think the 2028 class is going to be legendary, but we'll get there as we get there. I know I get a little ahead of myself when it comes to this recruiting.
But that's your thing, though. That's your thing,
I mean, and they're even going out and getting from like the West Brower's, like Joshua Moore getting playing time. Like the talent is like littered all over Broward and Dade. It's just out for them to go and get it. So
yeah,
5-star corner, number 1 player in 2028. One of the players I'm talking about, Amir Sears, plays at West Broward. I mean, now with this new era where the transfer portal you think is crazy in college, it's crazier in high school. The age of the super teams is here. So the rise and falls of schools you would never think of, like South Broward, or West Broward, they just have a year where everybody just transfers there, and that's the squad. They link up on 7-on-7 and they all just, all right, bet we're going here. All right, they said I can get this number. All right, they said I'll get this amount. All right, we here, and we've done it. The talent is here and playing, though. I mean, not the only time, like when we played Jordan Lyle last year, I mean, we knew what he was. Seeing him at St. Thomas, he was special. I remember watching him go for 200 versus my little brother's team at Ely in the state semifinals. And we're just like, oh my God, it's like you're watching like Boobie Miles. Like there was no stopping him.
When he's healthy, I think he's the best back on the team.
I think
I love Fletch, but like I also got a special spot for Jordan, so because I covered that St. Thomas team for a full season, so that seeing Jordan like do what he did. I mean, I wish he was.
Hey, we watched Fletch in that championship game, man. Yeah. That boy Fletch got something to say about that one. I ain't gonna lie.
They both beasts and monsters in their own right. You can't go wrong picking either one of them. It's more of a preference. Jordan Lyle's a little bit more explosive.
Yeah.
But when it comes to big boy football, ain't nobody seeing folk.
Yeah, that's the Derrick Henry. It's the Derrick Henry of Miami.
Shout out to Chamar Brown. I mean, for stepping up, right? He's a transfer we got
from North Dakota State.
And I'll tell you what, I ain't know this about him. When I heard he had how many touchdowns last year? He scored 15 touchdowns last year. I said, oh yeah. You could go to North Dakota State. You could go to, I don't care where you went, boy. You got 6-15 times. You know how to get there, bro. Now put him behind this O-line. See if them boys don't know how to block for his ass.
Yeah,
and he got a tug last on Sunday.
Yeah, seen him first time in practice, and I'm looking at him warming up, and he has his jersey rolled up. I'm like, yo, with the thigh pads out, short shorts.
Shit. You can't do this in North Dakota. You can't roll this up in North Dakota.
I'm like, yo, hey, this guy, he looks like a dude. Like he looks like a crazy size, and to see him, I've seen him run hard and pound. It was crazy.
So how do you think this dynamic with the running back group? We got a three-headed monster here with Jordan, Chamar, and Mark Fletcher. How do you see going forward that we split these reps?
Easy, to be honest with you, because we expect to be winning games. So we expect to be running the ball more, closing these games out. So, yeah, you're probably going to have Fletcher wear them down, Lyle wear them down early, and have that home run threat. Marty Brown, depending on how – I think Lyle's good to go. He's going to probably play sparingly versus Bethune-Cookman and then sit. But from what I heard, everything's okay. He was able to actually go back in the game. They just withheld him since Marty was doing so good. Real name's Chamar, so a lot of people are like, "Oh my God, who's Marty?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's what he go by." But yeah, it's probably going to be that dynamic where 10 to 15 touches is all these running backs need. So if they're getting 10, 20 touches, I don't see us throwing the ball more than 40 times a game. So that's something online where you might be that third back, but you're getting 8 to 10 touches. That's going to work out lovely for you. And honestly, we're a four horse team in my opinion, because they're waiting to unleash. There's a really, really good battle going on behind the scenes between Hellcat. If you have a nickname named Hellcat, you're probably fast. So he's from Broward County, Chris Wheatley. Humphrey played at South Broward. Again, not a school you would think about for pumping out talent, but 10-400 guy, flying. Averaged 200 yards rushing the game, had a crazy 50 yards per carry average. It was insane. 2K rusher in Broward County. Him going against Gerard Pringle, another guy we took from Gator Country, supposed to be in the SEC right now, from Armwood. So we're locking that down, and it's going to be looking nice. One of those two speedsters are going to have to make a play. And once one of them makes a play, they'll cement themselves as that, hey, when we need to go spread or speed back, this is the guy we're putting in.
Yeah, definitely. And then I got one more question before we wrap up here with the Hurricanes talk. Ray Joseph, where are we on Ray Joseph? Are we going to expect to see him getting some burn? What's going on there? Obviously, I know Malachi Tony coming along as quick as he has, probably is saying something about that. But I'm excited to see what he can bring to this offense. And I'm sure, it's not it's a good problem to have, right? I'm not saying he's not holding up his end of the bargain. It's just with where UM is at right now, we got a lot of things clicking. Is there going to be a place for him in this offense?
Yeah, there is, and he was getting plenty of snaps. They were getting snaps, versus Notre Dame. Was he getting looks, though? Was he creating separation? This is probably the hardest game when it comes to that on the schedule. So I think it'll become a little easier for him. He's going to get these snaps. The rotation is going to be there. Is Malley going to get rotated less? For sure. I mean, he was already getting rotated at a more minimal standpoint than the rest of them. As you can see, he's Carson Beck's number one target. Outside of C.J. Daniels, he throws the ball to Malley the most in practice. And CJ Daniels gets a lot of work, especially in the red zone. As you guys seen, that came to fruition. They do a lot of CJ Daniels. He's made a lot of crazy catches. He made a catch in camp that was crazier than the one he just made versus Notre Dame. I promise you. I was watching oh my God, this guy's on our team now. Making catches like that, just literally back pinning against the helmet on two people. Right.
Oh my God, this guy's on our team now.
And then they go out there and see it done in a game. We've seen Green Tree Warriors that, this guy, he's going to be the guy. No, I've seen it with my eyes. I'm sitting there in the IPF that's why they say don't bring the phones out. They don't want none of this. They don't want none of this getting out. They don't want none of this out. But when it comes to Ray, he's just going to have to make a play because he lost his return job. We got a new punt returner in Malley, who's also starting over you in the slot. You got to take this as disrespect at some point. You got Keelan Marion, who was an all-pro kick returner, or not all pro. He was an All-American kick return in college, at BYU. So of course we're gonna give him a crack. He got 4 return touchdowns. Go get your ass back there. Like, we not gonna play. So if I'm Ray, I mean, I'm just thinking every time I touch the ball, when he gets that first opportunity, he has to make the most of it. And I think it'll settle from that. If he don't make a play, it could get ugly because we got another transfer guy from Cincinnati, Tony Johnson, who's very, very, very slippery. I mean, he's one of them true slot receivers, very skilled, going to get open. Slippery, has really, really nice acceleration, especially with his tempo to his route, so he can get open. And if it wasn't for Malachi, he'd probably be, in the mix a lot. Even though he got banged up a little bit early. But yeah, it's time to sink or swim for Ray. There's no line about it, but I do believe he has the ability to make some plays. I would hope they just manufacture some looks for him. I don't think Carson Beck is just going to point him out in his dropbacks. I hope they make some effort to get Ray the ball and maybe boost his confidence.
And let him go out there and make a play. Hey, it's not over for it. This is a good problem to have. As I mentioned, you want to have a bunch of guys and depth and guys competing for, snaps and opportunities. I'll be excited to watch all season. Before I let you get out of here, Stevo, outlook real quick, because this team doesn't leave the state of Florida until November, as we know, until we go to Dallas and play SMU. I know we're homers. I know we love this team. What do you see the final record being for this team? How many wins are we going to get? 1, before our first loss, and 2, do we lose a game?
Yeah, I don't think we lose a game, and if we do lose a game, it's because we beat ourselves. It's just simple as that. The team is too deep. We are 8 deep at offensive line. I cannot kid you. We are 8 deep at offensive line. I could name you 8 guys right now, and we're working on a 9th. He's just getting things settled, and since he's a freshman at center, but he's a dude. Everybody's like they're trying to keep the shh on him.
Hey, usually I'm that guy that's trying to, like, all right, Stevo, all right, down, but like, chill out, bro. But looking at the schedule, looking at how we just played against one of the top ranked teams in the country, the formula's there, right? And everything points at UM to the playoff, to the ACC championship, and that's going to be their first real opportunity at a loss. Second, because Notre Dame was a first opportunity at a loss. Give credit there and give respect to the opponent. But looking at the ACC schedule we got this year, and then all the other USF and Bethune-Cookmans of the country. Stanford's gonna get a welcome to the ACC if they ain't get it yet. So
they lost to Hawaii.
They just gotta wait. And so NC State, Virginia Tech, Pittsburgh at being the last game of the season on the road is really the only thing kind of just making me a little uneasy. I'm not gonna use the word nervous or scared, just uneasy. But y'all heard it, man. 365 Canes info. Stevo's with us. He says he thinks we're going undefeated. He's not smiling. He's smiling, but he dead ass is what I actually mean. The U is back. I feel like we can say that, and we might as well hold on to that. We're top 5 in the country, and it looks like we'll be top 5 in the country for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks to come. So, Stevo, I just want to say thank you. All Things Sports Podcast, we appreciate you joining us. We got to tap in more during this season with you, and hopefully, try to bring you on a team. So, shout out to you, bro.
All right, man. Thanks you guys for having me, and go Canes, man. We'll chop it up. We'll see how Bethune and the rest of the games go.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate you.
Hey, Kev, man. Kev, we still got some business to handle, bro. We got week 1. We got week 1 of the NFL on Thursday night. Now, the Eagles are going to host the Dallas Cowboys at Lincoln Financial Field. It'll be the ring ceremony night. It's always a special night. Shout out to my cousin Lou, by the way. Lou puts all of this stuff together. I mean, all the presentation you're seeing right now, all the behind-the-scenes work that is not being spoken about, that's all credited to my cousin Lou. Shout out to him. We appreciate him. I'm assured he does not give a goddamn about this topic right now, talking about the Eagles, him being a Giants fan. But Saquon Barkley, man, he's gonna get his ring. He's gonna get his deserved love and praise, man. He went from a crazy, horrible situation to the best possible situation I'm sure he could have ever imagined in his NFL career. Much like a bunch of other guys on this Eagles team who are well deserved, Saquon could have won an MVP last year with the numbers he put up. Obviously, it's a quarterback's league and a quarterback's award, but what he did and what he brought to this team was second to none, man. I can't stress that enough. So I'm just going to be very excited to see, Saquon get the recognition and the ring. The players, however, I do want to say this, Kev. The players, however, will not be on the field for the ring ceremony. So, in the words of Nick Sirianni, he says, "I didn't know it was banner night. We won't be out for that." So here's the quote from Coach Sirianni as it stands for banner night.
Yeah, I didn't know it was banner night. We won't be out for that. We've had a good training camp. I think we had good OTAs. I think our habits are going in the right direction, and you focus on those things as every practice that we go through, we're thinking about how did we tackle, how did we take care of the football, how did we take it away, how did we catch it, how did we block, and so you're just looking for those to constantly be on the rise. And I think when you practice with the intensity that our team practices with, and you get that good on good work that we've gotten for so long. Our good offensive line is going against our good defensive line. You have no choice but to get better. And so I feel good about that. Now we got to go do it. We got to let our habits take over in the game. As coaches, we got to let our habits take over in the game as players. But I feel good about where we are right now. I didn't know it was banner night.
So he didn't get too much into detail as far as we're not going to be out there for whatever reasons, but the main reason is that they don't want to be known as the defending champs. They want to go out there and they want to start from scratch and get it out the mud again. I think, Nick Sirianni is in the news a lot when it comes to quotes and decisions, but this is a guy that they tried to write off, they being the media, they being the fans. This is a guy that got a lot of hate 2 years ago. And even in some last year, the Eagles were struggling for a little bit. If we're going to give coaches credit, like I started tonight in college football, which, by the way, Mario Cristobal also deserves a ton of credit for having the confidence in every group on his team, offense, defense, and special teams, and winning the game like that. But now on the big boy level, on the NFL level, I mean, Nick Sirianni, he won his ring. He won. And we acknowledged it after the Super Bowl, but we have to come into this season and acknowledge it a little more. Names were being called. People were saying he didn't know what he was doing. And he proved a lot of people wrong. And a lot of that love, or a lot of that hate, I should say, turned into love. And that in turn turned love into, Hurts into a Super Bowl champion under Nick Sirianni. So just want to give him credit there. I think it's a little odd that they're not going to be out there celebrating, and getting their praise. But if that's what works for them, that's what works for them. Kev, Micah Parsons just got traded, 2 first-round picks, Kenny Clark going to Dallas, Micah Parsons going to the Green Bay Packers. How do you see this game going, and is it going to be competitive?
So is it going to be competitive? I think so. Like, I'm not as down on Dallas as I think a lot of people are this year, simply because they have Dak Prescott back. I'm also not as down on Dak Prescott as I think a lot of people are. I think he's a fine quarterback. Like, I think you can get to the playoffs with Dak Prescott as your team's quarterback, especially when you have talent like CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens, Jake Ferguson. I love Javonte Williams that they brought in at the running back position. So I don't think this is a terrible team. I like them getting Kenny Clark back. Gives him some sort of physicality in the trenches on defense. Get Trayvon Diggs along with Deron Bland in your secondary. Uh, Kenneth Murray is there. So I don't think this is a bad team in Dallas. I think it's a team that can compete. And I think they actually have a chance to win the game on Thursday, just in the sense of one team on a high coming in, defending champions. Regardless of what you say, that's what you are. You're the defending champions. You can downplay it all you want, not be out there for the banner ceremony, but everybody knows who you are. You're going to have the biggest target on your back all year.
Yeah.
And so I think the Cowboys can come out and steal a game in week 1.
Wow. Obviously, it's the NFL. You know, they're all professionals, and it can happen. You go trade for George Pickens. You got one of the nicest starting duos in the league, if not right there under Cincinnati. But let's be realistic, Kev. I mean, I don't know if it's just we've been away from the game for a long time. If January, the Cowboys stopped playing before January. I mean, that was December, their last game. So I get it. I mean, we're here now in month 9. It's a long time. I give you the benefit of the doubt there. The Cowboys, to me, I agree with you. We don't have to be as low on them as we were last year, right? Quarterback plays a big thing. You lose your best player, but you do fill the gap on the interior with a guy who's been an All-Pro and a Pro Bowler at that position who's still fairly in his prime. So I get it. But there's a lot of questions that the Cowboys need to answer. First of all, mentality is we got to see where they are mentally. Coach Schottenheimer, I'm excited to see, where this goes and how he has his group of guys ready. But I think that defense just doesn't have enough pieces to be able to compete for serious long-term success. And then right here on week 1, they got, the Eagles' offensive line is going to be a handful. And, yeah, Kenny Clark, great. I'd be hyped to have him. But what we saw from that run game last year was like one of the best offensive running game seasons that I've ever seen. And so with them bringing everybody back, obviously losing their center for the most part of the season, at least most first half of the season, it does hurt. But I think that we're going to see a domination in the trenches, and this is where on both sides the Cowboys are inferior to the Eagles. So it's a tough time when you don't have as good of an O-line, you don't have as good of a D-line. That's where it starts, and so it can be a long night for them. I'm with you as far as hey, it's anybody's game. The Cowboys, it's a new season, new record, 0-0. But just based on the skill level at these positions, man, it's going to be hard for me to think that Dallas can truly compete this Thursday at least, on the road, on banner night, on ring night, after trading your best player. And then we don't know what Dak Prescott we're going to get, right? Like, Dak Prescott could come out and throw for 4 touchdowns, but he could throw for 1 and 2 picks.
It's crazy because I feel like Cowboy quarterbacks are always put in this, that was always the Tony Romo narrative too, right? Like Romo, you look at his numbers year to year, they were always great, but it was like, all right, what Romo are we getting tonight? Are we getting the one that's going to throw the pick to end the game, or are we getting the one that's going to come down the field and lead a 2-minute drive, touchdown, winning drive? So it's just funny, as you were talking about it sounded a lot like what we used to say about Tony Romo.
I mean, listen, when you got that star on your head, this is what comes with it, right? We love Tony Romo now. Jim, I don't know, Jim. Maybe Dak Prescott finds something for us to root for him about. But when you got that star on your head, man, and you signed up for it, is gonna come your way. So shout out to the Cowboys and Eagles kicking off the 2025-2026 NFL season. I'm beyond excited for that one. I got Philly. You're up in the air. You say Dallas might just win, and they might just. But let's leave that there. We'll talk about Friday night. We're gonna get the Kansas City Chiefs in Brazil. I want to say let's point out the fact that they will not be playing in America. This game is going to be a halftime show with, if I'm not mistaken, reggaeton superstar Karol G. Shout out to the NFL for setting that up.
Game's on YouTube.
Game's going to be on YouTube.
Right here on YouTube.
You could watch us and then watch the game. But the Kansas City Chiefs will be on the road, conveniently, versus the Los Angeles Chargers.
To be fair, if any team deserves a neutral site for a home game, it's the Los Angeles Chargers. Because
yeah. All right, you know what? I was having a fit about it, but I could totally understand that this may be beneficial to the Chargers. And they might actually have more worldwide fans than Kansas City. Obviously, we know with the Taylor Swift shit and the, Chiefs winning back-to-back Super Bowls, going to 3 straight. I'm sure they've gained a lot of fans over the last 6 to 7 years. But I think those Chargers jerseys and that powder blue go a long way in this world. And it's more likely you find an old Junior Seau, God rest his soul, or LaDainian Tomlinson jersey thrown around in the bottom of your pile of laundry versus the Patrick Mahomes jersey that you just asked for Christmas. But nonetheless, I just mentioned that because the Chiefs get the home game versus the Chargers in 16, 17, in week 15. So, I mean, if what it seems to be is that this is going to be a close division. I mean, you got the Broncos are going to compete. The Raiders, we don't know. I mean, Pete Carroll has success everywhere he goes, and I'm excited to see what he does with a potential offensive rookie of the year in Ashton Genty and Geno Smith being a new quarterback over there. But the Chargers and the Chiefs, they seem like they might be the 2 top teams in this division. And so neutral site game on the in Brazil, and then in week 15, the Chiefs are going to get the convenient cold weather, I don't know, 4:00 game of the week versus the Chargers at home. So what do you see for this one? What are you excited to look out for in this game? No Rashee Rice. I believe he's facing a 6 games or so suspension for what was a nasty wreck on the highway, and Josh Gordon would have gotten beheaded for if this was 2012. But what do you see for this game? Chargers, Chiefs, talk to me.
A big Harbaugh guy.
Football guy.
Yeah, I love Jim Harbaugh. I think he is I don't know what it is. He's just one of my absolute favorite coaches of all time. So I always feel like a Jim Harbaugh team is going to be ready. I think this Chiefs team is looking like this Chiefs team. This is the answer to the bell, right? Because you just got embarrassed the last time we saw you. How are you coming back this season? And I think that's going to say everything about the future of the Chiefs, because this could realistically be Kelsey gone after this year, retiring. I mean, you could see it could turn into that Eagles Super Bowl is the demise of this whole
Jason
future.
Kelsey.
So so that it's an interesting thing to go into storyline, I think, for the Chiefs. But as far as just Friday night, I'm going to go Chargers. I'm really excited to see Ladd McConkey. I think Ladd is the new Cooper Kupp. I just think he's going to be that guy. He's going to catch a lot of passes.
He is that guy. He is that guy.
He's going to catch a lot of passes. He's a great after the catch guy, and he's shifty. He can make you miss. He can get open. He does everything. I think he's just going to be a top 5 wide receiver this season. So I'm expecting a lot out of him. and I'm excited to see him against a really good Chiefs defense, or what should be a good Chiefs defense.
Hey, man. I love that you point out that this is the answer to the bell, because absolutely. The Chiefs didn't lose in the Super Bowl. The Chiefs didn't fail to three-peat. The Chiefs got their ass whooped on national television in front of the world to see, in front of Kendrick Lamar, in front of in front of Taylor Swift. Like, everybody watched an embarrassment. It wasn't a good game. There was no point in that game where it was entertaining. The stat line will not tell the truth. Patrick Mahomes got some garbage time stats. It was total domination from the best offensive line and arguably the best defensive line in football. And so Milton Williams, you know, you lose him. They're not going to have to, I know we're talking about the Chiefs here. But the Eagles, I got stuck on the Eagles because they dominated so well. But Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Andy Reid. This is the big three for the Chiefs. This is what, you know, the glue. This is who you can count on. Kelce had a down year last year and still was able to go through and get to the Super Bowl. The Chiefs were still able to get through and go to the Super Bowl. They have, I'm sure, I can't speak for them. I'm not going to do that. I'm sure that they have this game on their mind for the last month and a half, right? Obviously, the bad taste left in their mouth from February. Travis Kelce getting married, you know, restoring the vibes, if you will. The Kingdom documentary coming out on ESPN was a pretty cool piece that ESPN did about them. But the season is here now.
And I don't even know that you're wrong about them having this game circled. The only thing I would say you might be wrong about is how long. Like, I think they woke up Monday morning ready to play this game.
Yeah, and that's
by
part
Monday
of,
morning, I mean the Monday morning after the Super Bowl.
After the Super Bowl. And that's part of the competitive spirit that, starting with those three guys that I mentioned, have. And so I fully expect Patrick Mahomes to have it on his mind to win this game by any means necessary. And I do believe we're not going to see any version of preseason Chiefs. We're not going to see any version of just getting started. Like, this team, to me, is going to come out week one in midseason form. They have to. I think they have to. And so, can the Chargers win? Absolutely. I don't doubt it, and I don't, you know, look at you crazy or sideways for picking the Chargers. Last we saw this Chiefs team, they were getting embarrassed, right? What changed? I'll tell you what, that embarrassment is like equivalent, in my opinion, to when, like, you know, this kid is at school and he's like, "Oh, your shirt stinks," and you're like, "Your mom," and everybody's like, "Oh, now y'all gotta fight." Like, now everybody's looking, it's a fight, put your hands up. And so I think that's where the Chiefs are right now. That ass whooping was just, you know, super eye-opening for them, very humbling, and made them probably like, all right, you know what, let's get back to it. They started off last year, what, 15-0, Kev? I mean, the Eagles team, the Eagles was one of the worst nightmares in the NFL for teams. Like, nobody wanted to see the Eagles last year. The Eagles were not losing. That was destiny, and it was Howie Roseman putting together a hell of a squad. They lost some pieces on that end. We'll talk about that as the season goes on and see how they do. But the Chiefs pretty much got their guys. They got the guys that they need. And they got Patrick Mahomes. So, all in all, I know I've had a long breath about this, but I think the Chiefs come out with the hunger and the humility and go on and win this game week one. We're not going to get to be able to talk about every single game here on the schedule for week one. We'll definitely be here on Sunday to recap. I'll definitely be here. I can't promise anybody else. I know I'll be here Sunday night recapping week 1. But Kev, I do want to talk about a couple more games on the schedule just before we get out of here because, we can't just leave off with Thursday and Friday. We ain't even get to Sunday yet. And on Sunday, I mean, the stories write themselves. We've got Steelers at Jets at MetLife Stadium. It's a 1:00 game. I mean, we've got Aaron Rodgers, the former Jet, the former Packer, the Ashwagandhan All-Star, right? The whatever other moniker you want to give him. The legend. Coached by Mike Tomlin. Mr. Over 500. Versus, it's a new day. Ohio State's finest, Justin Fields, gets the call over there in New York. Starting quarterback. How does it feel? I'm not. This is a rhetorical question. How does it feel to have a nice, mobile, young quarterback in New York? But they also, in my opinion, the most important piece here, Coach Aaron Glenn, who's really going to be that guy for the Jets, and he's going to be the reason they have any success this year. You weren't a fan of the Robert Saleh trade firing. I remember vividly. Me, you, and EP. I didn't see eye to eye with you guys. I felt like, maybe it wasn't. Maybe there was some scapegoat to it, but it had to be done. I'll tell you what. It had to be done. I don't care how you cut it. Saleh's not going to be the guy when everything's looking great over here, at least not at the head coach position. And this is no disrespect. I like Saleh as a coach, but I don't think that he had those guys where they needed to be. And we could argue about last year if you want. Take 5 minutes with me and do it. But things were trending upward. We're here now. And we saw what Coach Glenn was able to do on the defensive side of the ball in Detroit and the culture that they were able to breed in Detroit. He's bringing a lot of that to New York, and he's a very no bullshit coach, which I'm sure you have a lot of respect for. I say all that to say I think Aaron Rodgers comes and spoils everything and just steals the show, throws for 2 touchdowns, Steelers get a pick on Justin Fields, and and them Pennsylvania Travelers are heading back west for a nice 6-hour drive. But I want to pose to you the question: what is the key factor for the New York Jets to not let Aaron Rodgers and Mike Tomlin's old asses come into MetLife and steal a dub from his former team? What is it?
Keep pressure on him. I mean, just pressure. I think it's just pressure the quarterback. The more pressure you could put on him, make him make those off-balance throws. We saw a lot of them. When he gets a guy in his face, he's not as mobile as he used to be. Just try to take advantage of keeping him in the pocket and keeping guys in his face all game. And then don't turn it over. I mean, realistically, this is going to be a team that runs the hell out of the ball. How effective can you be? I think both of these teams are going to try to run the hell out of the ball.
Yeah.
But the Jets, just speaking on the Jets specifically, like Justin Fields, Breece Hall, Braylon Allen, like they're going to, and I think they get creative too and get the ball into Garrett's hands in different ways. You have to. Like, you have to get the ball. Let Garrett Wilson be Garrett Wilson, but get him the football and let him make plays, whether that's jailbreak screens, whether it's jet pad, like whatever it has to be. Get Garrett Wilson the football and let him make plays. He's great with the ball in his hands, making guys miss. So I think that they'll get creative. I'm hoping they get creative and get Garrett involved also in just being able to get the ball into open space and do his thing. So this happens every time there's a new coach. Everyone talks about how great it is and it's different and
he's tired. He doesn't want to hear
the
it.
accountability is here. He's responsible. I get called out.
He's
during
seen it
practice.
all.
It's show me something, you know. Let's get to 5-2, and then maybe I'll feel something again. But I'll be at Monday Night Football in Miami. So, week 4.
You know what week that is?
Week 4.
Week 4?
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, look, I do believe running the ball is going to be key, especially when you got guys like Jalen Ramsey, TJ Watt trying to get to the quarterback. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is
I'm worried about TJ Watt.
Sorry, I said.
No, I'm worried about TJ Watt 100%. Jalen Ramsey doesn't bother me.
Fair enough.
I might eat those words, but as of now.
On the other side of Jalen Ramsey is Joey Porter Jr. You know, it doesn't get cuter. So like for Justin Fields, I think this is going to be a really, really good test because he's playing against one of the best defenses, if not the best defense in the league. Week 1, you know, and so he's going to see a lot. He's going to see a lot of mixed coverages, and there's a lot of athletes on that defense. So he's not going to just be able to run the ball nilly-dilly.
I will
say,
contrary to Rodgers, because it's a new coaching staff, this is the same defense that he went up against in practice for several weeks last year as their QB1. So there is some familiarity, some sort of familiarity with the defense.
Thanks for reminding me that. I mean, Justin Fields is the ex-starting quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers, right? Like, this is just more drama to add to this Week 1 marquee matchup. So, obviously, he didn't do enough to keep the job, and we're not gonna say he lost the job. No. He didn't do enough to keep the job.
5-2, 10 touchdowns, 1 interception.
Yeah, but like we watched it, you know, like he's not
5-2 is 5-2. I mean,
the team was great.
I watched
Justin
Trent
Fields was the starting
Dilfer. I
quarterback.
watched Trent Dilfer win the Super Bowl. I mean, anything's possible.
Yeah, let's not compare that defense to anybody ever. But I get what you're saying. We got a good one, and I don't think we should spend much more time talking about it. Let's talk about the Cardinals at Saints. Just kidding. Oh shit! Excuse me.
Oh, I was like, is there a Marvin Harrison Jr. Connection?
No, man. We got Micah Parsons makes his debut versus a. Yeah, I mean, I think he does. He said he all signs point to yes, and he said that he was willing to play Week 1 versus the Eagles if he was still a Cowboy. So, Micah Parsons, you know, without any plot twists involved, will make his debut in Lambeau Field versus the Detroit Lions. And, man, last we saw this Detroit Lions team, it was embarrassed. It was an embarrassment. Jaden Daniels, that rookie quarterback, man, and them Commanders, in that divisional round, they figured him out on the road in Ford Field.
That's my coach now.
Hey, they figured him out. I'm crying. Defense. But I'm excited to see what Jordan Love and the young receiving core can do against the Lions defense with a new defensive coordinator. A lot of talk has been spewed. That's the word I want to use. A lot of talk has been spewed over the last 4 or 5 days now that Micah Parsons has been a Packer. And people are boosting the Packers stock up like, I mean, this is the best team in the NFC. This team, Super Bowl contender. They're the best team in the NFC North. And in my opinion, I disagree. I don't think that the Micah Parsons trade makes them the best team in their division. I don't think the Micah Parsons trade makes them a top 4, maybe even not even a top 5 team in the NFC. When you, to me, look at teams like the Eagles, look at teams like the Lions, you look at teams like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and now here we can go ahead and get cute, whether you want to put, you know, Packers possibly at 4. I still want to see what Minnesota's going to do with J.J. McCarthy. right? And that's a little unfair because they're less proven, and the Packers have more of a track record. But the Packers are known to be suspect. The Packers are known to give it up. Jordan Love, as much as I like him as a quarterback, I don't love him. Ironic, right? I feel like he has growing to do. Can he take those leaps this year? Absolutely. If he takes those leaps this year and Micah Parsons is what he was in Dallas, all right, you know what? We could start talking about contending for that that NFC championship. But right now, I think what we have to do is just let it play out. I think we have to see what type of season Jordan Love is having. And if Micah Parsons' impact is going to be equal to or greater than what it was in Dallas. They had a Defensive Player of the Year candidate, or did he win Defensive Player of the Year? Or no, Xavier McKinney. I don't think he won it, but he led the league in picks. Giants should have never gave up on him, but yeah, I mean they have a top of the line safety. You know, they lose Jair Alexander, and now they lose Kenny Clark in the interior, but they add All-Pro, All-NFL Micah Parsons. So I think there's still some questions to be answered, Kev. I'm not there to give them top of the NFC candidate. Where are you sitting, and how do you see this game going? I just want to say, before I let you answer, I got the Lions winning a good game. What about you?
I think being in Lambeau, I'm not as high on the Lions as I think I was last year. So I do think the Lions I think they're going to make the playoffs. I think the Packers do win the division over the Lions, but I think the Packers come out on Sunday night, and I think they're able to win this game. Josh Jacobs running the ball. I think what you just said basically about Jeremiah Love, Jordan Love, is how I kind of feel like Matthew Golden has a lot to do with his success this year. Like, is Matthew Golden the guy who they spent their first round draft pick on in ever, I think, right? First time they drafted a wide receiver in the first round ever in the history of the franchise?
Say it again?
Was Golden the first wide receiver drafted?
Wide receiver? Yeah, I mean,
first round ever. At least
Aaron Rodgers
yeah.
looked at him like, fucking serious?
Yeah. At least since Rodgers, for sure, because I know they'd never drafted a wide receiver number in the first round. There may be other Green Bay wide receivers in the first round that I can't think of, but for the first time in a long time, is he worth that first round pick? Is he the guy that was worth spending it on? And if he was, then I think the Packers are going to be very good, because I do think they've got a good defense, but the offense to me is like it just feels like it's missing something, and it's a wide receiver. Like they need a wide receiver one. Yeah. Surprised that they did not try to go and bring Devontae Adams back. But
I mean, I don't know that he'd prefer to go to Green Bay again over Los Angeles. That's just me, especially at this point of his career. But
true, but
you definitely
got
the
familiarity with being in Green Bay, and I think he does have he probably would have had some sort of a soft spot for going back. I think it would have been a good. And it's not like they're a non-competitive team. So
that's true. I do want to point out I haven't been in the comments. I appreciate everybody that's tapped in with us on the live, been watching us. Shout out to EP, man. Yo, big shout out to EP. We miss you. We love you. Everything is going well with him, so no worries. But he'll be back in front of you guys, within no time. He's big on Chiefs money line. Put your mortgage on it. He's also saying take the over on Ashton He said Gentry. He sounds like my father. My father's a Raiders fan. He says we got this Gentry guy. Like, Pop. Is
Alvin Gentry.
Right. It's just
you don't want him
Gentry.
playing running back.
But he says take the over on him for the 1050, 1,050 and a half rushing yards. Smash the over on that. And then upper class arms, he's saying, wow, the only time the Giants get mentioned is we shouldn't have let Xavier McKinney go, and he agrees. Hey man, I tell you what, the Giants Showtime airtime on here on this podcast, on this show, will be solely based on what you guys putting out on that field.
Well, hold on, real quick. While we're here, we just have to address the fact that I think it was like 2 or 3 years ago that we were on the podcast talking about the NFC East, and you said
you remember
that Daniel Jones. I feel like it's all karma, like it's all come back to you. 3-6 or 3-6, yeah, it's all come full circle. Like 360. Now he's the starting quarterback for the Colts. So.
I wasn't even trying to talk about the Colts. I wasn't trying to talk about Daniel Jones. We still gonna beat the Dolphins week 1. So any Dolphins fans that's listening, that's watching, shout out to you. But if you got some money, put it up right here where your mouth is, and hit me up about what we could do on some bets. Other than that, I didn't want to talk about the Colts because, yeah, I mean, week 1 we got Daniel Jones starting, and boy oh boy, what's there to talk about? Now
so he's got a good security blanket in Tyler Warren
and Jonathan Taylor. I agree. Look, we're gonna win the game. I think we're gonna win. I think we'll have a decent season. It's just pretty frustrating to know that he's the quarterback that I have to root for.
Yeah,
after
him
draft night. I remember draft night. We could go back to 2020 and this fucking rest his soul. Dwayne Haskins is available and Daniel Jones. I'm like, I mean, shit. I like Dwayne Haskins in college. I don't think he's going to be an NFL guy, but I liked him in college. Who watched Daniel Jones at Duke? Like, who tunes into Duke football? Duke is a basketball team, sport. The school. That is not, I said sport. They are a basketball school. That is not a football school. So I did in 2022, prior to moving to New York, Kev, this was one of the first times you was shooting footage for me. I said Daniel Jones is Duke quarterback, no expectation, XYZ. Led them to the mother-loving playoffs and got their first mother-loving playoff win in years. So shout out to Daniel Jones for that. Hopefully he could recreate some of that with a better team, better scheme, better coaching around him. And hey, to the promised land. But let's move on. Before we get out of here, we're going to wrap up with Sunday Night Football and then a couple of the listeners' questions. If you're listening right now live and you have a question or have a topic you want us to jump into real quick, we'll try to shoot toward the end of the show for that. But, Kevin, Sunday Night Football, man. I mean, we're blessed. That's all I can say. We've got Ravens going to Buffalo for a rematch of the 2024-2025 divisional round matchup. The last we saw of the Ravens, Mark Andrews, he dropped a 2-point conversion. It was 25-27 with a minute 33 on the clock. I vividly remember this so specifically because today I chose to turn on NFL Network. Boom, here we are. Mark Andrews drops the ball. I was like, Jesus. And I'm a Colts fan through and through, but I'm a Lamar Jackson fan. And I'm a huge Lamar Jackson fan.
Don't forget the fumble at midfield. Well, on the drive also.
We talk about, listen, the opportunity was there to tie the game by catching the football. This is the last memory I have of the 2025 Ravens. Actually, there was one more memory, and it's a forever memory. It was Justin Tucker failing to get an onside kick recovered, and now he'll no longer be a kicker in the NFL. After what an amazing career he had, I'll give. Look, Justin Tucker, you had a great career, best kicker ever, but you know you just had too much fun, and you on your freak bull Deshaun Watson shit, and we cannot support that. I'm glad it seems like they found their new kicker. But, man, like I said, I'm hyped. It's Bills hosting the Baltimore Ravens. They're not at their new stadium yet. I believe that's going to be ready next year.
Yeah.
But they are at Highmark. or New Era, whatever the fuck you want to call it, Orchard, whatever you want to call it. They're going to be over there, and the weather's going to be beautiful, and we're going to have two of the best quarterbacks in the league going head-to-head in a rematch of the divisional round. Kev, how do you see this game shaping out, and who do you see taking the win?
Are we giving our Super Bowl predictions at the end of this?
We can do that.
Okay. 'Cause I've got one of these teams representing the AFC. So I just
Yeah, and it better be the one that went out and got a guy like Jair Alexander, a guy like who else did they get? Who picked up DeAndre Hopkins?
Baltimore. I don't think he's gonna have much of a.
But they went out and got a bunch of
yeah.
these guys. You know what I mean? And they have talent all across.
Yeah.
The excuse is nothing. So I hope it's Baltimore that's representing AFC. But let's talk about this game. It's week 1. We're not gonna talk about the Super Bowl just yet.
Yeah, we'll just we'll focus on this game. I do think in this game, I think Buffalo comes out on a Sunday night and last home opener in this stadium, and I think the crowd is into it. And I do think that the Buffalo Bills behind Josh Allen and Khalil Shakir and James Cook pull out a win on Sunday Night Football in Week 1.
Okay. So do you see like turnovers being an issue? Where do you see this? Where do you see this going? Like, is this Josh Allen just dominating on the run and the pass game?
I don't think.
And it's week 1. You know, I'm not trying to badger you. I'm not trying to like you're right, you're wrong. I just want to hear how you see it right now.
In Week 1, I feel like you haven't seen any football from any of these teams for real. Like, this is basically a vibe check, right?
Yeah.
Like that's what the picks are going off of. Like, and I just feel like Buffalo's gonna be at home and fired up, ready to go another year, trying to get to the Super Bowl, and I don't know. Something tells me that Buffalo's going to pull out. I think it's going to be a close game. It's going to be like come down to field goal, last possession type game. And I just think Buffalo being the home team, it's one of those games where I think the home team wins. So if Baltimore was at home, I'd probably go Baltimore. But I just think Buffalo being at home, scenario being what it is, I kind of like Buffalo on Sunday night, Week 1.
Hey, I'm gonna give a 909 special. If you in a group chat, a locksmith group chat, and you watching right now, y'all boys know 909 is that guy, man. Shout to 909. He's a locksmith. Thursday's game, he likes Cowboys Eagles at the odds are -115. He likes the over 47. Over 47 Thursday night football. Thursday night football, I just want to say, is typically not the highest scoring games, but we got one of the best offenses in the league and 2 premier wide receivers on the Cowboys with a pretty competent quarterback there. On Friday, Chiefs -3. It's at -110. Chiefs -3. Those are your 2 locks for this this pre-weekend. Week 1, Thursday, Friday opener. Cowboys Eagles over 47 at -115, and then Chiefs -3 at -110. Kev, we've had a lot to talk about today. We spoke college football, we spoke NFL, we got Stevo on the show, and we couldn't ask for more to come back. I do want to get into a couple questions from the listeners. So shout out to the listeners for sending in some questions. We got a mailbag. We'll get out of here just in time for bed. Cool? This is a good question. I like this one. Will Matthew Stafford make it through the season? A lot of talk, has come out of training camp, him missing all the preseason games. Will he be ready? Back issue. He's getting older. What's going on? Is Stafford alive? Is this a fake clone? I've heard it all. Will Stafford make it through the season, health wise? Obviously, what's your opinion on that?
And you said make it through the season, like
Yeah, like can he stay healthy? Can he run the gauntlet, 17 games? You know, and is he gonna
17.
hold
I
up?
think is going to be a lot for Matthew Stafford to get through. But he's 37. I don't think he's at that age where it's like you're not that
You're not 41,
right, but
but you're 37.
yeah, but you're 37. So I don't know, but I could see him getting through like 13, 14, 15 games this season. With maybe a 2-3 game stretch of him nursing something, or maybe just it's a long season. Maybe your 37-year-old quarterback just needs a few weeks off. So yeah, but I mean, hopefully, because I'm very interested in this Rams team and what they can be if healthy.
Nice. If there is a team that can overhaul the Buffalo Bills in the AFC East, who is the team that will do it? I need unbiased answers only. As the resident New York Jets fan, I understand the easy answer is probably to say the Jets because of the new look, new coach, new quarterback, more excitement. You guys got Brees Hall, one of the better running backs in the league. Garrett Wilson just got paid. Sauce Gardner just got paid. It's a lot of optimism over there, and I get it. And I'm not saying you can't pick them. But the Dolphins did bring back Tyreek Hill. They do have Jalen Waddle on the other side for now. It's week 1. They're gonna have him. They're gonna have him for the first 3 weeks. I don't know how much longer after that. Devin Achane looks healthy, but that cornerback room has been depleted with injuries, and they're trying to work in Jalen Phillips and Chop Robinson to be this dynamic duo rushing the edge. Who, if any team in the AFC East, can dethrone the Buffalo Bills this year?
Well, it's not the Dolphins. Let's throw them out already.
All right, it ain't
like
the Patriots.
Well, I was going to say, some people might say Patriots with Stephon Diggs going there, and he went to another AFC East team and helped turn that quarterback's career around. So might he have the same effect here?
I forgot about him going to Buffalo. Jeez.
Albeit, few years older now, coming off torn ACL, so might not be the exact same scenario, but I do think Stephon Diggs does still have something to offer and can be somewhat effective for Drake May. However, I'm not a Drake May fan, so yes, it may be the easy answer. I don't love. He could be great. I don't love him. Part of that could be because he's a Patriot. But you say it's the easy answer because, well, yes, that too.
That's where it starts.
Yeah, it definitely started there. It's, but you say it's the easy answer because it is, and it's the only answer. It's the New York Jets. If there is a team, in my opinion, that I think Tyreek Hill. I don't know that there's odds on this. I think he ends up back in Kansas City.
Yeah, this is the Devontae Adams of last year's situation.
Yeah,
but
I think, and this is the Kansas City Chief move. Go get the guy who's.
I guess they're gonna have. If I'm the Dolphins, if I'm Chris Greer, do I trade Tyreek Hill back to Kansas City and gift them that? I'm gonna need a ransom. I'm not giving Patrick Mahomes. I'm not enabling the Chiefs. That's the last thing I'm doing. You don't want to do it to your division. I mean, yeah, I guess, but man, I guess that's a suck it, Bills.
They actually
have them back. We can't compete with them here.
They actually did them a favor because the Jets had the better trade offer, but they gave Tyreek the option, so yeah. Tyreek wanted Miami.
Yeah, wouldn't you? All right, 2 more questions before we get out of here. I also believe the Jets are that team. But unfortunately, this is the Bills division right now, and it doesn't seem like they're gonna lose it. Offense and defense rookies of the year. I'm gonna just simply say I think Ashton Genty on the offensive side will win rookie of the year. Who do you think will win rookie of the year on the offensive side, Kev?
Yeah, probably would. Yeah, I'd probably say Genty. I would love to see it be Cam Ward, obviously.
Yeah.
But I think with Pete Carroll there, Geno Smith, like I think a lot of things are going to be open for Genty to do what he does. He's already had some impressive runs that we've seen in the preseason, so I think all things are building up for him to be the offensive rookie of the year. At least, obviously, health is the biggest factor. But if he can stay healthy, I think it's his to lose.
Okay, so to me, it's like one of those things where it's just in his favor. Pete Carroll, you know what I'm saying? Heavy running. We saw what he was able to do with Marshawn Lynch. The Raiders in that nice ass stadium, I just feel like everything is just like this is the place for Genty to be. All right.
Yeah, I will say
defense.
I will say though, other than Cam Ward, if there is a dark horse, I do like Emeka Egbuka in Tampa because of the offense that he's going to be in. He's probably going to have the Chris Godwin role, especially early with Mike Evans on the other side, while Godwin's out, and he's got Baker. So
yeah,
I think.
And real quick on that, is Godwin playing week 1? Because there was reports I was seeing that
I think
Chris
they said
Godwin
week 5 is like the earliest that they expect him back, if I'm not mistaken, unless something changed.
Hold on. I got I mean, I fully expected Chris Godwin. Okay, yeah, they're saying they want him to return to practice week by week 2. So definitely be out week 1. And they shouldn't rush him back. NFL. Emeka Egbuka is NFL caliber talent even last year. Like, he could have started last year in the NFL. So I don't think that they're gonna need to or want to rush Chris Godwin back from that injury. It was a pretty nasty injury too. But EP said, "Yo, I haven't Obuka Obuka offensive rookie of the year in 25 to win 800." Hey, look, I'm all for it, brother. I hope he wins.
Good value.
I don't care if Ashton Genty wins it at all. But
For the offense that he's in, I think that's great value. Like,
listen, what would be awesome, because I got my defensive player of the year, who I think is going to get a little help with the popularity contest. I think he's going to get a little help from the NFL. But I also do think he's going to play good enough to deserve this. Travis Hunter, right? Travis Hunter, defensive rookie of the year. If Travis Hunter gets in that end zone 6 to 7 times on offense, just put his name on both awards. And if we see that, I mean, I'm here for that. I don't care if the NFL had to rig it a little bit. I'm here for one man winning offense and defensive rookie of the year. I'm so here for that. I don't think that happens. I do like Genty and Egbuka to be some of the top candidates, but I do also love Travis Hunter as a cornerback, and I think that what he can bring to the Jacksonville defense is going to be so dynamic. He's so fast and to the ball and such a freak athlete with ball skills. It's hard to deny. So I fully expect him to win that. If not, I got a dark horse, Malachi Starks, Georgia safety out of Georgia, went to Baltimore, and this is just like Baltimore, the rich getting richer, where they're hitting on this. The Baltimore Ravens have hit on the draft recently. I mean, Kyle Hamilton, getting him and then extending him, being able to extend him this offseason at safety, getting another safety like Malachi Starks. Obviously on offense, guys like Zay Flowers. Bateman is finally coming to his own last year. Some offensive line guys. Look, I was going to mention Lamar as well. They drafted some offensive line guys as well. it's been a match made in draft heaven for the Ravens over the last few years, but this guy here, Malachi Starks, is definitely a candidate for Defensive Rookie of the Year and can possibly win it.
I'm with you on if Travis is like a candidate for both. Like, just give him both because when are we going to see that again?
Yeah.
But I don't think that's going to be the case. And I on the defensive side, I think I have more conviction with my choice of Abdul Carter as the defensive rookie of the year. I think he's going to cause a lot of havoc in the backfield for teams this year.
Brian Burns on the other side, Dexter Lawrence up the middle. You're going to get a lot of one-on-one opportunity, bro.
The Giants have I think the Giants to make the playoffs. I think the Giants have a very realistic chance to make the playoffs this year.
I said this. I believe it was the last time I was on air. It's going to be, nobody wants to say that, right? That sounds weird. It doesn't even sound right. But veteran quarterback, off the charts, drool out the mouth kind of guy at wide receiver. You draft Abdul Carter, who, I mean, if you watched any Penn State game last year, you know what type of dog he is. Trade for Brian Burns. Dexter Lawrence been that guy up the middle. And you got guys like Bobby Okereke at that linebacker position, and you sign Javon Holland as a free agent safety. You got guys like Dre Banks still trying to, find his way in the league out of Georgia. Paulson Adebo, however you say it, excuse me. You got some guys around. Now, can you block for your quarterback? And can you run the ball? These are two questions that I have about the Giants, where it's the consistency, right? You can win a couple games and they can be flashy. They can have a couple nice wins, but we're talking about the playoffs. That's a big feat. And so being able to make the playoffs consists of, can you run the ball and block for your quarterback? And so Tyrone Tracy had some issues, fumbles last year, but I think he's still a good running back who can make New York his home. Like, this could be their feature back for years to come. It has to all come together. And then drafting, obviously, Cam Scatterbo, who's, you watch Iowa State last year, you could the film, speaks for itself. He's a dog. I don't know that he'll have immense success in his rookie year.
He's a football player.
He's a guy. He's a guy who you want on your team. He's a teammate. He's a tough guy, and he just wants to win. So, like, can't go wrong with that. I do believe the Giants can make the playoffs. I don't think they do, but I do believe that they're gonna put themselves in position to say, like, all right, you know what, fans, we can. This is hopeful. This is hopeful. And the reason I don't think they do is just the NFC is deep. You know what I'm saying? Like, the NFC is tough.
I also hope that they have the patience this year to let Jackson Dart sit behind Russell Wilson and not thrust him into a starting position that he would not be ready for. And I think he's got potential to be good, Jackson Dart, and he's shown.
I think he's got potential to be great.
Yeah. He's shown like flashes of it in the preseason. Yeah. Granted, it's the preseason, and we've seen a lot of guys go out in the preseason and not look so great.
We didn't see Josh Rosen come out there and do that.
We didn't see Josh Rosen do much. But
I feel like they're gonna do Anthony Richardson like Josh Rosen. But anyways,
I hope that I already saw the reports that he's the QB2 on the depth chart over Jameis.
Yeah, I saw that too.
So I hope that they're not working their way towards throwing him into that starting position.
I don't think so either, though. I mean, I think that they know that they can compete for now. Like, it's week 1, like, they get off to an 0-4 start. Like, all right, yeah, like, let's fucking try something. I don't think that's the case for the Giants.
But honestly, like, let Jameis get out there.
Right, but I'm saying, like, these are things that we start looking toward now. You don't have to put them in the 0-4 start. That would be actually horrible. You guys start 0-4 and you put Jackson Dart in. But these are things that start to turn your mind into, okay, we're going to become Jackson Dart now. Like, Russell Wilson gets you at 500 going into week 5, and you're like, all right, shit, like we're still locked in on this season and singular to what's going on right now.
Yeah.
Once, the losing starts and bad play, we start seeing this, and if Russell kind of shits on himself, which I doubt he will, that's when you start like, all right, well, when is the Jackson Dart show gonna, start? But as of right now, and as they, succeed in 2025, I think that Jackson Dart and Brian Dable loves the fact that Jackson Dart is just sitting there, soaking all the game up and being a backup. So there's that. Those are the listeners' questions this week. If you have any questions for us while we on air, drop them in the YouTube comments. If you want to email us questions, allthingsportspodcast@gmail.com. Hit me up on Twitter at Leon Phelps. Hit up Kev, man. Find us on the street. Ask us a question. This has been All Things Sports Podcast. We're almost at that 2-hour mark, Kev. We're just at that 2-hour mark here. So I appreciate you for, spending time with me and kicking off football season the right way. Thanks again to Stevo. Shout out to Lou. Shout out to everybody and the listeners in the comments rocking with us. NFL season will start this week. Today is Wednesday. It's 12:49 a.m. on the East Coast over here. It's Wednesday. My sister's birthday coming up tomorrow. NFL season start tomorrow. I'm super hyped. I'll be here on Sunday to see you guys after the NFL Week 1 recap, just before Sunday Night Football, and then we'll get rolling next week again. Thank you guys for listening. Kev, once again, appreciate you, bro.
Thank you, bro.
Have a good night.